morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're having a great day. Okay. First, just want to go over this. These little islands that you guys see, these little things that you guys see right here. These are 5 minute charts for the last 5 days, or the last 5 days. All right, or 6 days maybe. But you can see we get the move once in the day, maybe early in the morning, then the rest of the day it's just chop, it's nothing. We keep coming back to this 3770 level, this level right here, which we've been covering for the last few days. And these are 1 days, like there's not much movement happening unless you catch this one rip that happens, during the day, fine. But otherwise, you're just fighting against the thing. This is called no man's land. The market here is not giving us any direction. The only thing that we can see from here, if we go on the see, what we want in the market is something like this, a directional moves one way, right? That's when we make money, one directional moves. All right, but when we come in these no man's land and the market's not moving much, and the thing is, we give you guys these days that before they happen based on the data that we have on hand, we're somewhat able to predict that what the markets are going to do. We might not be able to predict the direction, but we know that how much movement there may be in the markets. But right now, the last few days, there's not much movement in the markets. All right, so let's go over the daily chart, and then I'll just give you guys some points. So far, the only thing that we see here is a base that is being built. A base that is being built. We had this nice directional move. Now, out of this base, which way do we go? Which way do we go? So a few things that I'll write down for you guys here. Number one, we've got the 3600 strong support from JPM. All right, if you guys don't know, JPM has a huge position sitting at 3600 puts, right? It's providing us support right here for now. If we break 3600 and we hold under, then the move can get ugly to the downside. All right, but so far 3600 plus is a strong support, means we're still building a base. But at the same time, to the upside, we don't have much. The only levels we have for the upside is 3800, maybe 3900 if we get there. All right, right now to the upside, there's not a lot of strength that they can take the market up. All right, there's not that many buyers. There's not a lot of buyers out there right now. There's no liquidity on the futures, if you guys are watching those markets. So we don't have that yet. All right, and towards the end of the month, we have the quarter end. We might see some rebalancing. Some individual stocks will run. Indices are likely pinned. All right, so meaning indices might not have a big move to one way or the other. Maybe after by tomorrow or maybe next week, we might get a nice little out of range move on this thing. Maybe slow grind towards the upside, maybe. But again, it depends on what the market gives us, right? In my stock life, if you're in the premium chat, we don't only just go over trend lines and support and resistance. We go a lot over options, how they're controlling the market. We go over the macro views. We go over the global market, Europe, what's happening. There's a lot that we cover, and we give you guys information of what's going to happen in the markets, right? And so far we rode this trend down, and now the only question is, let's see what happens here. I think sometime in July we might see a leg lower coming in the markets. Let's see how that happens. But for now, the market is just stuck in this box, and it's in no man's land, right? Personally, if I was biased here, small bias, nothing crazy, I lean to the upside towards these levels, nothing crazy, that's it, right? But if we break these supports, I understand that the move down could get ugly. So here we're just trading less, we're just taking our day-to-day trading profits, and that's it. All right, so that's SPX for you guys for now. And then 3770 remains a strong number these days. 3770, above 3770 we have some buyers, below it they can sell. All right, so 3770 has been a magnet level for the last 5-6 days, which we gave it to you guys. All right, and then let me just remove these drawings, and then we can go over to Amazon. So yesterday I saw that rates were coming down, and we were seeing some strength in bonds, and then I chose to go along with Amazon. So instead of playing options, right? I did buy equity here, right? I bought some equity here, and then I kept scaling out on every point, right? And luckily I was already scaled out by here, and then the entire day it was nothing but a chop. The market was not able to go back up, right? Same with SPX. So this we did this live, but for now, Amazon, I'm gonna go over some daily charts for you guys. Amazon here again, a nice little W pattern in the making. Let's see if we can hold above 110. Then ultimately the numbers that I have are 110, 112, 115, and then 120. But anything under 110, I'd avoid. All right, it's weak. We can see more downside. All right, so under 110 we can see more downside. Is weak. Above 110 we can probably get to 112, 115, and 120. And remember, every 1 point now is 20 points on Amazon. All right, and Next, I've got Apple. Apple showed some strength too yesterday. Similar action across the board. You're gonna see the same candles everywhere with a long wick to the upside, right? Let's see what happens here. Again, stuck in a range. Same thing with Apple. 136 hold. 136 hold. We can see higher, but if we fail 136, we can probably see lower. All right. And some other charts that I want to go over. Tesla. On this day, the flow was bullish, right? On 21st June, this candle right here, the flow was super bullish, and yesterday the flow was bearish, right? And they sort of closed this with a shooting star, and they're showing a lot of sell pressure above 715, 721, right? The levels that we have on Tesla from before, if you guys remember, these are the levels we've had for some months: 719, 721, and 726. These three numbers are very important, right? We get through these three walls, we can see higher, but failure of 700 and hold below, we go lower. All right, my bias on Tesla for the coming months, not now, for the coming months, I do believe that we see 500s, right? That will be my first equity buy in Tesla after many years, and then we see. All right, and also pay attention to Europe as well, guys. Europe is very weak right now. All right, so pay attention. Right now, we might see a bounce in those zones, but Europe is leading the downside, I think. A little bear flaggy pattern here, but again, it's a little base. I will look to short Euro on some pops, right? So if I can get some pops on Europe, I will look to maybe short. All right, so pay attention to Europe closely. And VGK, you guys remember we posted some flows a couple of months ago, and they were on point, right? Those options went up 500, 600%. All right, we were here in that chop at that time when we posted, but man, what a big move we had on VGK last week, and these options moved up a lot. Another name that's having a lot of flow right now to the downside is financials, XLF. All right, so I scanned this yesterday at night. I was going over the flows. XLF has a nice little open interest increase for the months of August, September, October. So keep an eye on XLF Wells. Keep an eye on banks in the coming weeks. If we see any bounces or pops, I'm looking to maybe add a position in this name. Maybe if we can get above 32, 33, I will be looking to play some downside on XLF. I do think that we take out these lows in the coming weeks on financials. Right? Banks should not perform as good. I think they go lower in the coming weeks. So banks, I would keep an eye on. Financials especially, I've done my work on this. So if I get some pops in financials, I might look to add for the coming weeks. And guys, I buy time on my positions. I don't do weeklies unless it's a same day trade. All right, so keep an eye on financials as well. Sean DB is down 7% pre-market. And again, you know, weak. Under 9 hold, I think under 9 this can go all the way towards 750, which is a big move. That's $1.50 down on from $9. That's a huge move on equity alone. All right, so I would keep an eye on DB as well. It's already down pre-market. I would look for some bounce if we can get it, or else it goes lower. And LB mentions something great yesterday, that look for some banks with the mortgage exposure. Those can see some more downside in the coming months. All right, if you are into real estate and you understand the world well. And apart from that, I would keep an eye on, I got a list of names here, Snow maybe, let's go over Snow chart, right? Because this one was also getting some bullish flows yesterday. I would keep an eye on Snow as well, guys. If I go on the weekly chart, I think we could see a bounce all the way towards 157 on Snow. 157, but again, the market has to stay strong. I'm not just saying that I would buy this right away, no. I would keep an eye on this name, which has room towards go to 157-ish, all right? What's the high of this candle on 9th May week? 159, 157, 160, right? So I would keep an eye on this name Snow. This can definitely see some upside, and I've got a lot of names that I can go over, but I'll just leave it to these names as well for now. And guys, that's pretty much it on SPX. I'm not in a rush. There's not much to do for me here on the weekly. The candle is just an inside candle. We're unable to reclaim this move, and I can just tell you guys one thing from my experience: this move right here is not bullish. And when the market crashes, when all of a sudden the market crashes like COVID, you guys see this crash that happened here, there's a good chance that the market bounces right away. But there was no crash here. This was just a grind down every day. If you guys go on the daily market, it wasn't a crash or nothing. The market was just weak. It was going down. This doesn't, so the bounce here becomes much harder to do. You guys have to understand this market, right? And then this market, they're two different markets, like all together. All right, this was a COVID panic crash. This is just a market going down on fundamentals. All right, there's a different, huge difference here. Okay, so a bounce here to above 3,800 is going to be a very, very hard hold on SPX. We get through 3,800, we can grind towards 3,900 and maybe 4,000, who knows, and then we see what happens in the market. But for now, trading it here is extremely difficult. All right, so manage well, risk well, trade well, be patient, look for some great trades, and that will do you a lot better than, you know,